All right, so in this video, I don't have anything to present or write down, so it's just my face. You're gonna have to deal with it. Sorry. But one of the things you should be asking yourself is, what is your opinion of internet addiction? So the book describes internet addiction, and there is some debate in the field of psychology about whether or not internet addiction is a real thing. So I want you to evaluate what your opinion of internet addiction is, particularly with the definitions of it that it provides, whether or not you feel like that describes you or somebody that you know, and whether or not you think that's actually a form of addiction, and whether or not you think that addiction is problematic. Additionally, the book makes a statement that individuals are ultimately responsible for their addictions, and I want you to question whether or not you believe that and you think that's true. Some people view addictions as an inherent sickness that they're predisposed to and it's not really their fault. Others do view it as a moral and ethical choice. So which is it that you believe and why? And under what ethical theories do you think that? Another question that you should be asking yourself is about the real world market that exists within video games. A lot of times people will buy things with real world money in these digital landscapes. And the way that people get these items, these digital items, really comes from people in third world countries who are playing these games in order to turn a profit. And as a very small profit, mind you, it's offshoring game playing so that basically rich Westerners or rich people in general can buy these digital items. I want you to consider whether or not that's something you find concerning and why you might find that concerning. And I also want you to consider whether or not internet censorship has benefits and whether or not it has harms. Why should people have censorship and why shouldn't we? What are the benefits of it and what should we be concerned about? This also brings up the question of whether or not colleges and universities should be able to suspend students who brag about breaking rules on social media or say other things that are perhaps against the school's code of conduct or other aspects of their rules regarding student behavior, and whether or not saying that they did something on social media is sufficient evidence to say that they shouldn't be part of the school anymore. Lastly, I want you to discuss the similarities and differences between the web and other ways that we communicate. So, in particular, just discuss the web and the internet with relation to the telephone system, physical mail, bookstores, movie theaters, newspapers, broadcast TV, cable TV, all of these things. How is the internet different than all these other aspects? Keep in mind that the government currently regulates the other communication systems that we talked about a little bit more heavily than we currently do the internet. And should we have as much regulation on the internet? What kind of regulation is appropriate? What kind of rules should we place on the internet and on people's access to the internet? Now, these are all discussion questions that you can be asking yourselves, but also talking to each other about and talking about in the course discussion zone on iLearn. It's really important that you're doing this because I can guarantee you that at least one of these questions is going to be on the exam. So discussing these types of things is important because you're going to get practice for the exam. You're going to get different perspectives for the exam. This is normally something we would do in person during class time, but we're not really able to execute well in this online format. So make sure that you're taking the time to actually put effort toward analyzing these discussion questions and putting your thoughts either to paper or to chat in the Teams site. Also remember that in the discussion zone, you can share notes on the chapters with each other or on other aspects of the lectures. I really encourage you to do this because the exam will be open note, and being able to share your notes with each other and bounce ideas off each other is an important aspect of this class, and you're able to use those in a way that's going to potentially benefit your experience with the exam that's going to be happening, I think, right after fall break. All right. If you have any questions, remember to ping me on Teams, send me a direct message, or otherwise reach out to a TA. I'd be happy to talk with you. The TAs would really like to talk with you. And remember to ask us for feedback on your writing and other things that you maybe aren't quite certain of, and to do that sooner rather than later. I know in this online format it's really hard to keep track of everything you have to do, but also to stay on task. So feel free to contact me sooner rather than right before an assignment is due. I did extend the deadline on that ethics prompt paper because I didn't like what I was seeing in terms of submissions, but that's not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to do that again. So it's really important that you take the time to make sure you're doing the assignments correctly and that you're taking the time to ask questions. I give you such a long time on the assignments specifically for you to ask me questions, and if you wait until last minute to do them, you're going to lose that opportunity. All right, again, if you have any questions, ping me on Teams.